Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for the July Tarot for Cancer. Hi Cancer, this is your July Tarot. I've shuffled the cards and picked out weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, and we had one extra that hopped out. And for your Oracle cards, I'm using Kyle Gray's Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards, and Lily Moses is the artist for this one. Same as the Keepers of the Light Oracle deck by Kyle Gray. And I've already picked out an Oracle card for you. Now, I've been looking at this deck, the Celestial Tarot. I think I already held that up. The Celestial Tarot. And they really, the couple that has done this deck have really put a lot of thought into reinterpreting what each of the cards mean. So I'm going to actually read what they write about the symbology on their cards, and then I will also interpret the cards. I'm not just going to read out of the guidebook, but I did want to sort of give you a warning, Cancer, because I know some people are kind of purists. If the reader isn't just reading it spontaneously, then, there's something wrong with them. But I usually do read for the Oracle cards, because the Oracle cards don't usually follow a set pattern like Tarot does. And oftentimes when I'm working with tarot decks that are not just Rider-Waite based, I will read a little bit of the guidebook too, just to clue you in as to what's going on. So we start with the Four of Pentacles, and this is Orion. Glorious Orion shines prominently in the night sky. The Egyptians linked this constellation to Osiris, their divine pharaoh and resurrected god of the underworld. To the Greeks, Orion was the great hunter and companion of Artemis, stung to death by a scorpion for defiling nature. With the Four of Pentacles, Taurus initiates the individual into the awareness of the boundaries separating Earth's sacred and secular spheres by recognizing the distinction between inner values and outer possessions. When this card appears, the individual needs to reflect on his or her relationship to the material realm. Now, usually in a Rider-Waite deck, the Four of Pentacles would be the slightly corpulent man sitting on a stool facing us with the city behind him, and he's holding on to his 4 coins for dear life. He's got one under each foot, and the other 2 he's holding in his arms. So what this author is saying is recognize the distinction between inner values and outer possessions. That it's very important that you reflect on your relationship to material goods. It isn't good just to be wrapped up in all materialism. And I know, Cancer, for most of you, you're not. But just be careful, because all of us can be seduced by the pretty shiny thing. I know I have been from time to time in my life. And the next card is the Hierophant, and they have given this also to Taurus. So this is also a Taurus card here. So let's look at the Hierophant. The power of Taurus. With the Hierophant, the mythic pattern of Taurus is brought to light. Like the other gods of the old religion, Zeus shape-shifted into a magnificent white bull, the most revered animal in Indo-European myth, to seduce Europa, a young Phoenician princess. Behind Europa and the bull stands the Hierophant. Oh, can you see that in the card? Can you see the guy behind? He's kind of ghostly. Stands the Hierophant, the priest who initiated thousands of pilgrims into the Eleusinian mysteries. He stands behind the great bull that abducts us into the pleasures of the outer world, the desires of the body, and the rapture of our passions. Beyond body is the spirit of the Hierophant, distilling our worldly experiences. On an oracular level, the card signals a desire to direct our passions towards self-knowledge and understanding while remaining grounded in the world. So, very interesting. So the Hierophant's goal here is not to stop us from having earthly pleasures, but to contemplate what it means to just have a desire only for earthly or bodily pleasures. That you need to direct your passion towards self-knowledge and understanding, not unlike the message of the Orion card, right? Really look at what you love and what your passion is, and don't get too carried away with it. And the next card is the Princess of Pentacles, and that is spring. So let's look at the Princess. Here she is, the season of spring. Okay. At the vernal equinox, the astrological cycle recommences with Aries. With a spring in her step, the princess heralds the season of new growth as the first signs of life reemerge. At the midpoint of the season, the pagans celebrated Beltane to proclaim the return of fertility. Similarly, the ancients told of Persephone's return from the dark confines of the underworld. The abundance of spring flowers denotes the fertility of this time and the availability of resources to begin seeding new projects professionally and materially. The card characterizes a young person of substance and integrity, willing to learn the craft of life. So, unlike the normal Rider-Waite deck, the Princess of Pentacles here is really focusing on the earth and renewal and growth. That she is happy about growth. And I think the underlying message, though, is like the normal Rider-Waite card, that she is a person who is used to managing that growth, to enjoying it, to celebrating it, to nurturing it, bringing more to life, and that she's not afraid of hard work in that regard. So in the first week, we get a really decidedly Taurian earth theme for the first week in July, Cancer. So for you, that may be joining with your family, really reconnecting with them, because that's usually a very important component of Cancer's life. Maybe you're even beginning to harvest or work, or maybe you've already got a garden and you're weeding it and watering it and making sure it's okay and the weather's not too hot and it's not burning up all your lettuces and everything. So this Taurian message here of building and grounding oneself is really, really strong in this first week of July. So I don't think it's a lot of physical labor, but I do think it's a lot of appreciation for the gifts in your life, appreciation for what you already have, what you already master. And not only that, but what does it bring you? What kind of spiritual lesson do you have there? All right, let's move on to the next week, which starts with the Seven of Swords. Okay, so this one, Seven of Swords, it has a hare on it, and it says Lepus. Although Lepus has been identified as a variety of images throughout different cultures, its contemporary name of the hare has been known since Ptolemy. As lunar creatures, hares have been associated with both the moon and the Great Mother, sacred to Hecate, the mistress of the crossroad and goddess of thresholds. As the first deacon of Gemini, Lepus reminds us of the trickster side of the hare and its ability to dash in and out of the nocturnal shadows, vanishing, then reappearing. When the card appears, it suggests it's time to use intelligence, wit, and cunning in a current situation. So the Seven of Swords is not like it is in the Rider-Waite deck. In the Rider-Waite deck, the Seven of Swords is the thief. This is telling you, all right, you need to be cunning and shrewd. You need to use your wit. You need to maybe be on the lookout for the thief, but you are not the thief. But you need to be just as smart as the thief. Okay, then we have the Ace of Swords. Initiating the journey into swords is crucis or crux, commonly known as the Southern Cross. In antiquity, these 4 stars were part of Centaurus. From the sacred ground of Chiron, the celestial cross evolved into its own star pattern. The sword emerges from the heavenly cross, an ancient symbol of the earth, depicting the emergence of consciousness. Clarity and discrimination are necessary, as a new pattern is constellating and the old order is being questioned. When this card appears, new strategies emerge to birth a progressive way of understanding the current situation. So, you need to use your cunning, but also be on the lookout for the new situation and understand how that is going to manifest and what your part in it will be. And the next card is the Star. And I think in this deck it's very similar to the Rider-Waite deck, but it might be a little different. Let's see what it says. And certainly the picture is different because she's pouring out jewels or other planets onto a planet, which looks either like the moon or the earth. Aquarius and the manna from heaven. To the ancients, Aquarius was the power of flowing, often flooding, water. The star represents both strands of Aquarius. It heralds a revolutionary new way of being after a period of turmoil or suppression, and is also representative of a wellspring of hope and renewal. Aquarius' innovative and creative new vision pours forth like manna from heaven, a welcome downpour after the disruption and chaos of the tower. In celestial tarot, Hebe pours the invigorating waters recycled from the abundant springs of life over mankind. She symbolizes renewal, hope, bright prospects, inspiration, and spiritual guidance. The star is the light of the higher self, and it is Hebe, the heroic anima, who illuminates inner darkness and heralds the dawn of a hope-filled future. So this second week, it's saying, if you can use your cunning, there's something new starting that is going to refresh you and your world and possibly all of mankind. So a real switch from the first week. The first week is all this Taurus message of, get in there, get your hands dirty, let things grow, be aware of what you really value. And then this week is saying, now, use your wits, be smart. There's something new coming up that you have to be a part of, and it's going to be amazing, and you are going to be amazing with it. Okay, third week we have the Chariot. This is Cancer, the mother, and the hero. This card depicts a mythic fragment of Hera suckling the infant Heracles. Ironically, Hera was the hero's fiercest adversary, yet his name means the glory of Hera. To her left is another mythic mother, the great she-wolf, the foster mother who reared the twins, Romulus and Remus. Astrologically, Cancer is the nurturer, the caring mother, and the familial alembic. However, the astronomical myth underlying Cancer reminds us of another dimension of this archetype. The myth describes the heroic struggle to separate from the all-pervading atmosphere of attachments that prohibit us from moving out into the world. The card suggests that it is imperative to take reign of the emotional life and purposely direct it forward. Inertia needs to be overcome to glimpse the horizon of possibilities. Oh, wow. Okay, and then we have the Eight of Cups. And again, excuse my pronunciation. I hope it's right. I have no idea. Cepheus. Throughout antiquity, kings represented this constellation. In myth, Cepheus was instructed to sacrifice his daughter. Therefore, this card asks, what needs to be sacrificed to restore a harmonious relationship with spirit? The Eight of Cups signals periods of withdrawal while these feelings are being worked through. Often the central trigger for this self-examination is a relationship. On an oracular level, the card suggests a journey of the heart, which may also materialize as a physical journey. Whatever way this unfolds, the individual is transformed through sacrificing their defensiveness. Really interesting. We've got the Chariot here and Cepheus. Wow, those messages just are kind of blowing my mind. Wow. So these cards both talk about separation. This one is, I can't quite keep everything in my brain. Eight of Cups. What needs to be sacrificed to restore a harmonious relationship with spirit? And this one is saying that there's a struggle to separate from the all-pervading atmosphere of attachments. So I think this one is saying, don't be too materialistic, which we had a little bit of this in the first week. And this one is saying, maybe you do need to separate from some things, because if you're too enamored of the material world, you can't follow your spiritual path. And then we have the Queen of Wands, fixed fire. Queens are sovereigns of the fixed signs, commanding power and influence over this realm. The Queen of Wands is monarch of Leo, the regal sphere of the heart. On a personal level, the Queen is loyal and loving, displaying confidence, generosity, and warmth. On a collective level, she represents the prophetic and intuitive creatrix who inspires others to actualize their potential. Characteristic of a passionate and creative woman, the Queen of Wands embodies the strength and passion needed to sustain the fires of the heart. Symbolic of a mature feminine approach, the card stresses the need to maintain the heart's desires through loyalty, fidelity, and inner convictions. Wow, Cancer. That's kind of heavy, isn't it? All of these things all together. So it's really saying, make your choice. Is your choice to be in the material world only? Or is your choice to be a really loving spiritual person and actualize your potential? That's the other piece of that. I hope you're following this, Cancer. It's a little bit of a heavy reading. I really am taken aback. I was not anticipating this with these cards, but that's okay. It's great. It's great that we have this wonderful reading. All right, so now the beginning of the fourth week is the Ten of Pentacles, embodying life on Earth. The Earth signs combine to prophesy prosperity and to reconnect us to the ancient mysteries of the ancestors whose blood and fate we inherit. The child born of the earth inherits ancestral and racial memories. This card brings traditions and conventions to light, indicating legacies, inheritances, or family time devoted to celebrating or resolving the past. The card instructs us to become more aware of our familial environment in order to experience extraordinary delight in our ordinary lives. The Ten of Pentacles reveals the mystery that underneath this moment of time lay the seeds of the future. So I'm wondering, with the Ten of Pentacles in this deck, if it isn't also prophesying that there could be some addition to your family, a new baby, or something like that. Because it's clearly not speaking about material wealth. It is speaking much, much more about family and the things that you really love and value. And since this is a reading for people with Cancer rising or Sun or Moon in Cancer, I'm sure that that is more in line with their values. All right, then we go to the Three of Pentacles. The fourth week also is heavy on Pentacles. Delphinius. Isn't that interesting? Okay, make sure I don't cover that up. Okay, Delphinius, the Three of Pentacles. Sacred Fish was the title the Greeks gave to the constellation named for Delphinius, an ambassador of Poseidon who persuaded Amphitrite to marry the sea god. Poseidon was so grateful he placed him in the heavens as the dolphin, a symbol of metamorphosis. Delphinius represents a labor completed for the Delphinius represents a labor completed for the gods, an achievement requiring skill and dedication. Similarly, the Three of Pentacles augurs recognition and rewards for a job well done. Through concentration, hard work, and focus, the individual has manifested something of great value and worth. Wow. Now, normally that's just the card for group work, but I really like what I just read a lot better, don't you, Cancer? And then the final card, well, not the final card because we have this extra card that came out, but we have the King of Swords. Balance is the key. The king holds the sword of discrimination and mental prowess in one hand, with the scroll of knowledge in the other. Together they empower him with logic and diplomacy, well developed in the cardinal air temperament of Libra. Aware of the swinging scales, the king tries to align them through being just, equal, and fair, upholding human values and morals. When the card appears, it foresees a time when logic, not emotion, is necessary. The king may manifest through the individual as the conscious awareness to act tactfully, diplomatically, and conciliatory in all negotiations. And then we had this extra card that jumped out, the Queen of Pentacles, and I'm going to read it, Cancer, because I think it's going to be helpful for all this other stuff that was put out here. And Queen of Pentacles, fixed earth, which is Taurus. Sovereign of the sensual and pleasurable aspects of life, the Queen crowns herself with the pentacle. As mistress of her resourceful earthly domain, she embodies the incarnate realm and oversees seasonal cycles, intimately knowing the need to sustain and preserve life. At her foot is the bull, emblematic of abundance and fertility, as well as the power to enable her to be grounded through difficult passages. Characteristic of a sensual and stable woman, the Queen implies a developing relationship with an internal sense of security and confidence to be in the world. When this card appears, it parallels a time of deserving life's rewards and riches. And clearly, Cancer, this reading is all about acknowledging the many blessings and riches that you have and making choices about what more you want out of life. Making choices about what's important in your life and what's disposable in your life, and then acting on that. So I think the Queen of Pentacles is really an outcome card for you, whereas the King of Swords as the potential outcome is saying that you need to be dispassionate. You can't use emotions for every consideration. And that may be true, but you can use your values. Your values link to your emotions because they tell you what's really important to you in your life. Now, several signs have had kind of this theme in their readings this month. I think it's really important that people pick and choose what are they going to really fight for? What are they going to be aligned with this month? And what choices are they going to make in order to follow that passion, that alignment? So let's look at your oracle card, which is Earth Guardian, stay rooted and grounded. And this image looks like an angel. Stay rooted and grounded. Let's take a look at that. Take time to connect deeply with the energy of the earth so that you can feel supported and make decisions based on strength and integrity. The Earth Guardian represents the angels of Earth, who bring the medicine of feeling grounded and strong. They are the protectors of the land and the planet and can help you connect with your mission here and how you can support the evolution of the planet. The Earth Guardian on the card is a beautiful part angel, part elemental who is non-binary, showing that they are a divine being without a human gender. Their staff, adorned with a dream catcher, shows they have the capacity to help you ground your dreams in reality. It's important for you to take a grounded approach in your current situation. If you're rushing ahead or making a decision based on more fearful responses, you will miss out on the growth you deserve. Take some time to calm down and get grounded before proceeding further. Breathe, relax, and connect with your center. Then consider what to do. It's important to plant seeds that are going to grow into something beautiful rather than turn into a weed you have to deal with. So that is your reading, Cancer. I hope you got something out of it. Please leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you got out of it. If you liked it, do you like this deck? Did you hate me reading out of the guidebook? I'm so sorry if you did. Do you like these oracle cards? And I try to mix up the decks that I use. I'm starting this thing where I'm really making a concerted effort to use different decks every month. But if there is a deck that you really feel aligned with, let me know and I'll use that deck for next month's reading. If you're interested in getting a personal reading with me, my website is thecoolcrone.com. You can make your appointments there, you can read about all my services there, and you can even pay for the appointment and set it up online. So with that being said, thank you very much for listening to this reading. I hope it was helpful. Leave me a comment. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. I really do appreciate it. Have a wonderful month of July, Cancer. Happy birthday, and I will see you next time.